Welcome back, everybody, once again to Titans Tube. My name is Justin, and with me, as always, is Jake. And we are here to break down the week 9 picks for this week, Jake. And oh my goodness, the headlines and everything going on in the NFL, Jake, it's been crazy. It started off with the Derrick Henry injury, then signing Adrian Peterson. Von Miller gets traded. We had Calvin Ridley, you got to do its best for your mental health and all that, but now he's not playing for the foreseeable future. The terrible story in Vegas with Ruggs, his career's probably over. Aaron Rodgers, what is going on in Green Bay? Jake, it just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. What's going on in the NFL this week, Dave? I can't even keep up.
I don't know. I don't know. Halloween was this weekend. Maybe there's a new moon. I don't know if the, Mercury, I think, is out of retrograde by now. So I don't think that is what is to blame. And on top of it all, we didn't even mention OBJ maybe forcing his way out of Cleveland. That experiment kind of coming to an end. It's definitely an interesting week in the league.
Oh gosh! All right, so we're gonna do our best. We're gonna make our way through these picks here. But first, let's go over how we did last week, Jake. Not as strong of a week as as we have been having, but some crazy stuff happened. Jets won against the Bengals. We definitely had that one wrong. But anyway. You have inched closer. You went 8-5, Jake, to my 7-7 in the 14 games to pick. So you're one game closer. So overall, I've got 84 wins, and now you're at 76.
Hey,
76-45.
I said we just got to keep it in single digits. We'll let this back half of the season really decide.
I know it's happening. I gotta watch myself here. I gotta self-correct. We'll try to start it off here. Thursday night football, the New York Jets at the Indianapolis Colts. Jets. Oh my goodness, it's Mike White season, people. It's Mike White season. Holy cow. Who is this guy? Throwing for 400 yards on the Cincinnati Bengals, getting the big time win there. And then the Colts winning streak snapped by the Tennessee Titans. You'll love to see it. Jake, what's going to happen here? I'm going to throw this pick to you. Is this Mike White thing a mirage, or do you think the Colts will take care of business at home?
Now, something that was lost on, Sunday afternoon, I was at the game with my cousin who lived in Indianapolis. We're having a great time. He's not a Colts fan by any means. But he said to me at the start of the game, he goes, man, my quarterback got hurt, or my quarterback's not playing this week, and I had to pick up the backup quarterback for the Jets. I think his name is Mike White, and he started him for his fantasy team, getting 400 yards and a few touchdowns from Mike White. Unbelievable. I do think it may be a mirage. I don't think I'm going to be placing any bets on the Mike White-led Jets soon. But, in talking about betting, the Colts are 10.5-point favorites in this game, Justin. I don't think Carson Wentz has any authority to give 10.5 points to anybody. But long rant aside, I'm going to go with the Colts at home. As much as, I wanted to go Jets because the Colts are turning around on a short week, super emotional, hard-fought game on Sunday that they ended up losing in overtime in a back-breaking fashion. Can the Colts turn it around in just a few days and beat, the New York Jets, who are susceptible to win, I guess, at any given Sunday, Justin?
I know. Now it's official. Like, you can't just look at the Jets on your schedule and be like, all right, we should be able to take care of business, because they'll surprise you. They've done it twice now, taking down currently the two of the top teams in the AFC. But yeah, I don't know, man. The Colts are not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. Nearly took down the Titans. If not for a couple terrible mistakes from Carson Wentz down the stretch, they may have been able to do so. I'm with you. I'll stay with the Colts as well. I think they bounce back. They're going to stick around for a little bit longer. It would be nice to officially clinch this division as soon as possible, given the injury woes that we are sustaining right now. But, we'll get to that later. All right, so we'll both take the Colts here in this Thursday night game. Next up, we have a huge game on Sunday at noon in the NFC North, the battle for Ohio. Jake, who's gonna take your home state there? Two teams who are desperate for a win, especially the Browns. I think losing ugly to the Steelers at home, they've got to try to salvage this thing. Super interesting division this year. All four teams are in contention. I don't know what to make of it. There's no bad team in that division, I don't think either. Even the Steelers, at least average, maybe above average. We'll see what they do. The Bengals, are they going to start sliding a little bit? Bad loss to the Jets here, Jake. Who you got? I'll give you the honors again here. Who you got in this game?
Now, and we have this whole headline debacle. We talked about it at the top. The NFL is just wishy-washy this week. OBJ maybe forcing his way out of Cleveland. We'll see as, the week goes on. We're filming this on Wednesday afternoon. But, I just got a hunch that the Bengals are maybe going to start sliding. Now, the Titans lost to the Jets and then responded with 4 straight wins. So maybe the Bengals can capture some of that magic, but something about this Cleveland team, I can't quite quit them just yet. I think they have a lot of fight left in them, and I think they're going to upset the Bengals on Sunday and get themselves back in the AFC North race because their backs are against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, their backs are against the wall. I think they're going to throw everything at the Bengals here. But yeah, I kind of like how you said that losing to the Jets magic that may kick in here for the Bengals and go on their own little 4-game winning streak. Maybe this is kind of a wake-up call. They were riding high after beating the Ravens in a big way, and then they suffered this big letdown, losing to a quarterback that nobody had ever heard of before. I think they're going to rally. They're at home. They're going to get this ship right back on track. I believe in Joe Burrow. And we'll see. It's going to be a good game. Nick Chubb is healthy again. I'm assuming Kareem Hunt is going to be getting there as well. So, we'll see. But I'm going to take Cincinnati in this game.
All right.
Let's move on to the Denver Broncos coming off a win, going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, also coming off a win. No more Von Miller. I mean, Broncos coming off a win, yet they're already kind of selling out for the future. They're at 4-4, but I get it. I see what they do need to prep for the future. This isn't a bad team. They just have a few holes, especially at quarterback. Having said that, I like how the Cowboys are playing better, and they've got a lot to play for. Big lead in their division. I think they're going to take care of business at home and stay in contention for the top seed in the NFC here, Jake. Who do you got?
I am also going to take Dallas, but, as far as Dallas trying to get the top seed in the NFC, I know they're right there in contention, but I'm just not the biggest believer in Mike McCarthy at head coach. I feel like sometimes he's kind of a liability with his decision-making in games. So remains to be seen if he can really push that team further and get them to that one spot. In the NFC, you got Green Bay's up there. They're going to be a tough out. And ex Packers coach Mike McCarthy, who I'm not very big on. But anyways, I got the Dallas Cowboys at home here. I'm not, you said it, Denver's kind of already selling out, even at 500 halfway through the season. So interesting proposition there, but give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, and it's not to mention, I'm assuming Dak is going to be back. He was close to playing last week, but Cowboys were able to get it done with, who was it, Cooper Rush was his name?
It's a great quarterback name.
Yeah, I think that even if Dak doesn't play, I think they have a good chance to win against Denver, even if they have to play Rush again. All right, let's move on. Here. Let's go. Let's take our attention briefly to 2 teams who will probably be picking in the top 5 in the upcoming draft. Texans on the road against the Dolphins. Both teams at 1-7. I feel like the Dolphins are closer. I like their quarterback situation better there with Tua. He's not playing terribly. I don't know. I'm not really watching the Dolphins games, but they played the Bills pretty close there for much of the first half until the Bills kind of ran away with it at the end. But I like the Dolphins at home. Give me Tua and his fins. What about you?
I am also going to take Tua and his fins. Band name, I'm going to put the dibs on that. But, you can't pick Houston to win a football game, really. I mean, I don't know where Tyrod Taylor is at. I know he was injured. I don't know if he's on the mend or anything like that. But Houston's a fire sale, man. I'm taking the Dolphins.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't trust Houston to do anything. Let's move on here to the Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Big NFC South game here. If the Falcons, want to make something of their season, they're going to have to pull off a big upset on the road here to get back to 500. I'm just looking at the line here. New Orleans is favored by 6 at home, even with Winston not available for the rest of the season. So the Falcons have a shot, I think, here. But can Trevor Siemian kind of rally the Saints to a big division win? I'm going to say yes. I'm super tempted to pick the Falcons, though. I really am. But aforementioned Calvin Ridley no longer there for their offense. But, super tempted. I want to jump on the Falcons here, but I'm going to be safe and go with the Siemian Saints, Jake. So who do you got?
I will be unsafe, and I will go with the Ryan Falcons. Yes, Calvin Ridley, huge hit to the Falcons offense and kind of team identity as a whole. He was kind of one of their stars as far as the Atlanta Falcons roster went. So big blow for them. But, just something about Jameis Winston being out for the Saints. Trevor Siemian, do you really trust him to go win you an important divisional game? This game could have a lot of weight down the stretch, especially in terms of who's going to get that wild card slot behind Tampa Bay in the NFC South. So I'm going to go with the Falcons, Justin. I don't know. We were real low on them to start the year, and we're kind of getting a little wishy-washy on them, but I'm going to take Atlanta.
All right. I mean, I would love to see it. Arthur Smith, big Arthur Smith guy here, Jake. So maybe you can pull it off there. Let's move on to the Raiders coming off a bye week, going to New York to take off the Giants, who almost pulled it out against Kansas City on Monday Night Football. Ugly way to lose that game when you had a shot, New York. So let's see if they can try to get things right here. They're 2-6, Jake. Raiders, playing well without John Gruden, and now one of their top offensive weapons in Henry Ruggs, not going to be there for the rest of the season. We'll see if that hampers this offense, but I'll throw it to you here, Jake. Who do you got in this game?
Just something about this Raiders team, Justin. It seems like this year they've been cursed by some sort of bad luck plague upon to them. Maybe it's them moving from Oakland to Las Vegas, but it just seems like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing keeps happening to this Raiders team. But there they are. They're still winning. They're atop the AFC West right now. And, tough scene for the Giants. I was watching that game. I really wish they could have maybe buried Kansas City for the season on Monday night. Close call there, but alas, no dice from the New York Giants. So I'm going to go with the Raiders here, despite all the distraction and just awful news they've had to deal with.
Yeah, agreed. Short week for New York. Raiders, that sucks in the scheduling. So you got to play the Raiders, who's coming off a bye, and then you just played on Monday Night Football. That doesn't seem right. The NFL should try to fix stuff like that when it happens. But I'm with you. I think the Raiders, they haven't really slowed down yet, and I don't see the Giants being a speed bump for them here. I think they win and move to 6-2 again, like the Cowboys being in contention for the number one seed in the NFC. The Raiders are kind of in the contention for the first seed in the AFC. So both of these teams were not expecting to be there when week 17 rolls around, but making strong statements early on, and I think the Raiders will keep it rolling here as well. Big game here for the Patriots and the Panthers. Panthers being the home team, both teams at 4-4. So, big game, even though it's out of conference. If these teams want to stick around to be in the wild card hunt, this is a big game for them at this point in the season. Patriots surprised me going to the Chargers and, getting that win down there. This team isn't to be looked over whatsoever. They're not trying to rebuild entirely. I think they look like a good team right now who may again be in the playoffs. I'll take them on the road here, Jake. I'll take the Patriots to beat the Panthers. What about you?
I am also going to take the Patriots. I believe I took them last week. I think, if my memory serves me correctly. So I've been kind of riding the Patriots train as of late. I think they're kind of coming on, putting it together a little bit. And what rebuild? Just insert another kind of weirdly molded quarterback out of a blue blood college, and we're just going to reload with Bill Belichick and get rolling again. I'm taking the Patriots on the road here.
Man, and we should note that Christian McCaffrey did get activated off IR. That's a big thing of note there for this game. It kind of turns the dial for me a little bit, having now remembered it. But I'm going to stick with the Patriots pick. I just love how they're playing more so now than the Panthers. So you never know what you're going to give. How's Sam Darnold going to play? Super inconsistent this year. Sweep for the Patriots. Probably picking a sweep in this game, Jake. Buffalo Bills going to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Man, we believed in them briefly, Jake. We both picked them to take down the Seahawks. Now, looking back, it's like, what were we thinking? They get blown out in Seattle, almost shut out entirely. There's still big problems in Jacksonville. Bills are going to take care of business here this weekend. Maybe even cover that 14.5 point spread. Who do you got?
I am going to also take Buffalo. Not really too much to talk about here. The twine keeps unraveling for the Jaguars, but as expected, you didn't think that the Jags would come in and even sniff 500 with Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, and the like. So yeah, the Buffalo, no doubter.
Yeah. Yeah, Buffalo Bills sweep there. Let's move on to Battle of Purple teams. The Minnesota Vikings going on the road to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Coming off a bye week, seeing if they can wash that nasty taste out of their mouth by getting throttled by the Cincinnati Bengals before their bye week. And Minnesota, man, bad times. Could not beat the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. They dropped to 3-4. I think the Ravens are going to take care of business. Safe, easy pick for me. Vikings, yeah, they kind of got exposed, I think. I thought they had a chance to make some noise here and possibly get in the playoffs, but I know Cowboys are good outside of Dak, but that was an opportunity to win a game there that they needed, and they didn't get it done. So I'm rolling with Baltimore.
As the Vikings go, we're off this week too, Justin. We're kind of in flux. It's a weird week. But I am going to take the Vikings in this game, and I couldn't tell you why or how or what kind of rationale I have other than the Vikings with Kirk Cousins are so up and down and up and down and up and down. And just as soon as you want to dismiss them, they have weapons on offense, Justin. They have great players on their roster. And I think Mike Zimmer is an okay head coach. I mean, I don't think he's a bad coach necessarily. So just when you start to dismiss the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to win a big game and get back into it. And I have the Vikings in the upset.
Okay. The Vikings can be that team. We see the Titans being that team a lot where they just, they'll win a game when you don't expect them to. And I'm not expecting them to. So they might very well get this win against Baltimore. So we'll see what happens there. Another out-of-conference matchup. We got the Chargers going on the road to the Eagles. Kind of an interesting matchup here. Eagles did come, they got a win against, I'm having to look it up, who they beat last week. It was the Lions. Mm-hmm. But it was 44-6. I remember it was an eyebrow raiser too. It's like, okay, I mean, the Lions haven't won a game, but they've been competitive, but not in that game. And the Chargers, what's going on with Justin Herbert past couple games? Not being the high-flying young quarterback that he has been so far in his young career. How do you see this game playing out, Jake? Who you got?
I am going to take the Chargers to bounce back. I mean, they came out of the gate so hot. Justin Herbert was an MVP candidate, as far as the first quarter of the season went. They've kind of fallen off a little bit. And just the Eagles, despite the big win in Detroit last week, I can't get on board with them. They're another team where, you kind of just dismiss them and they'll win one game and then they'll lose two more. And, that kind of thing. But I'm going to take the Chargers to bounce back on the East Coast this weekend.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make this my little upset pick here. I like the Eagles momentum here. I like, them at home kind of playing for their season. Yes, again, against an out-of-conference opponent here, but it's such a big game for them to stay within the wild card race, to inch back closer to 500. If they can get to 4-5, season's still alive for them. So I think they'll rally for a week. And, Chargers dropping to 4-4. I think they're still going to be a playoff team at the end of the day, but kind of a trap-ish game for them that I'm seeing here for the Chargers. So I'll take the Eagles.
Like it.
And, oh, man, here we go, Jake. Packers at Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, the hot takes that are going to be spewing. One of the hottest stories of the season in the NFL. Not vaccinated, possibly not being completely honest when, asked that question. Still a lot to develop there. So could he have been breaking protocols? Is he, where's this whole thing going? Or is he going to, be back once he gets cured? I don't know if he's going to have to be vaccinated. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Can Jordan Love come in here and beat this Chiefs team that still did not look impressive in their win against the Giants? Will the Packers offense still be able to move the ball against still a bad Chiefs defense? And the Packers do have a better defense. And, with the Chiefs struggles here, the Packers, you could still say, have a really good chance in this game to go into Arrowhead and get a win, which is kind of crazy to say. And I'm going to say it. And sure, maybe I'll do 2 upsets in a row here. Man, the line has dropped to 7.5 for Kansas City.
Ooh.
So not a lot of faith for Jordan Love, but I'll throw you some love, Jordan. I think the Packers are the overall better team. You know, just how we say Derrick Henry is not the entire Tennessee Titans team. Aaron Rodgers is not the entirety of the Green Bay Packers. Well, I don't know. He's a lot. He's carried that team to a lot of wins.
It was an optimistic take, you know. We were talking about it. I like your pick, Justin, and I'm kind of with you on the Packers being a better overall team. But as soon as I saw this Aaron Rodgers news that, you know, he petitioned the NFL for alternate treatments, and I said, great. Aaron Rodgers trying to cure COVID with crystals and psychedelics and whatever he's doing out in Hawaii is going to be the domino brick that turns the tide on the Chiefs season, and the Chiefs are going to win this football game, and they're going to get back into it. They're going to beat a good team in Green Bay, and they're going to start rolling again, and they're going to make the playoffs. And now the Titans got to deal with them in the AFC playoffs. So thanks a lot, Aaron Rodgers. I got Kansas City at home in this game, and I just hate it. I just felt it in my heart that would be the tipping point, that if the Chiefs could beat the Packers at home in a big nationally televised game, that, you know, there's their momentum, and they're right back to being the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. So you got Chiefs. I do. They'll be we'll be at 5-4. They're going to be right back in this thing in no time. Thanks a lot, Rodgers. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. A big time divisional game. Arizona 7-1 going to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who are very desperate for a win. They did get it done against Chicago last week. Tough task here, Jake. Arizona's been the number 1 team in the NFC, finally getting their first loss to the Packers, who no longer have Aaron Rodgers. So maybe they legitimately should be considered the best team in the NFC at this point. So who do you got? You think they take care of business here? I think Arizona is going to take care of business here. I just think Arizona is so deep and well, put together as a football team. They're not super over the top special. Maybe at wide receiver with DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Elijah Moore. Rondale Moore. God, I do it every time. I do it every time. But I think Arizona is a well put together football team, and I just think San Francisco, they don't even know what they're going to do with Jimmy G as far as maybe putting in Trey Lance. Who knows? But I got the Cardinals to take care of business. Yeah, I think they will too, and I think they'll win by possibly 10 points. And I'm surprised to see they're only favored by 1.5 points against San Francisco. So, I agree with all the points you made. They're a better team. 49ers just still don't look convincing, or you can trust them. I don't know if they've beaten a good team this year at 3-4, but now's their chance to kind of say, hey, we're here. We're making noise. Don't forget about us. But I think the Cardinals are going to quiet them down and slowly and painfully end their season. All right, let's move on. Let's skip over the Sunday night game and go to Monday night real quick. Let's see what the Bears can do on the road against the Steelers. Big win for the Steelers. They're back, where the Steelers just never go away for a season. They're always going to be making noise and in contention for the playoffs. And I like their chances against a Bears team that you just can't trust. With that offense, Justin Fields, how's the development going there? Seems like it's going to be slow moving for that Bears franchise with Justin Fields there. I don't think they get it done in Pittsburgh. That tough defense, TJ Watt, one of the best defenders in the game, always seems to make a big play every single week. I'll take the Steelers. Who you got? I like what you said about Pittsburgh just not quite going away, because you almost saw it coming, especially with their sputtering start. Is Mike Tomlin is going to get this turned around. Ben's going to do just enough to get them a couple of wins down the stretch. And, I just really can't get the pulse of either of these football teams really that are going to be on Monday night. Chicago at 3-5, Pittsburgh at 4-3. They both kind of put together some okay wins. People forget that the Bears beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who are, apparently an AFC contender these days. So it's tough to really read this one, but Pittsburgh got the home field advantage. They kind of got a really big win against Cleveland last week, and they might be stacking a little bit of momentum for the rest of the year. So I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. All right. So we got a sweep for the Steelers. Now let's move back to Sunday Night Football, Jake, where the storylines are going to
gonna abound this entire game. We got the Adrian Peterson led Titans against Von Miller and that Rams defense, and man, oh man, what can you say, Jake? How are the Titans gonna fare against one of the top teams in the NFC without their face of the franchise player, Derrick Henry? Man, I mean, we might be getting Christian Fulton back, but dude, I can just see Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods dicing up this defense in my nightmares. This team has so much firepower. I'll throw it to you, Jake. This Titans team is still winning games, though. They're still winning games, not fully healthy. This is a big test.
Huge test. But here's the thing about this game, and it's the same idea as the New Orleans Saints game that Derrick Henry was resting in a couple years ago. It's an uncommon NFC opponent. The Titans don't need this win. I don't think they have the firepower to win this game. But can't you hear it? Al Michaels watching and commentating, and oh my goodness, would you look at this? Adrian Peterson down the sideline for a Titans touchdown. Yeah. I'm convincing myself all week long that Adrian Peterson is going to somehow work in this Titans offense, because maybe it's the fan in me, maybe it's the Titans bias, but I could see it just working just enough. And something about this Titans team is when you fully count them out for a football game. And I've seen other Titans fan podcasts, different outlets and stuff say this. As soon as you think, the Titans are going to lose this game, there's not a chance. I mean, Derrick Henry, we're going to have to adjust to life after Derrick Henry. It's not going to be a quick, easy fix, especially for this offense who runs so solely through him. But as soon as you count out the Titans, Justin, look out, because this team has a huge opportunity. The stage of Sunday Night Football in SoFi Stadium against the Rams, who are firing on all cylinders. If the Titans can go out and beat them on a national level without Derrick Henry, look out. I mean, the Titans have a chance to make a huge statement, and I think there's just a smidge of a chance they'll get it done. And since it's Titans Tube and NFL picks, I'm going to take the Titans to win this football game. Justin, what do you think?
Yes, Jake, I love it. We do. Oftentimes, it's happened against the Bills, the Chiefs. So Titans are Titans can't win this game, can't win that game. The stage is set again, though, Jake. And I'm already having flashbacks. Remember, just recently, last year, late December, we go to another NFC power late in the season. We're feeling really good about our team. And the Green Bay Packers just take it to us in a bad way in the snow. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, just because, same thing, prime time, NFC, top team in the NFC. How are the Titans going to fare? I think the Titans are for sure going to surprise some people, maybe not winning. I will pick them to win, by the way. I'm just going to get that out of the way. I'm picking the Titans.
Yeah.
But I think they're at least going to surprise some people by staying competitive and really, showing what they're made of. And if the Titans do win this game, like what you were saying, I think the Titans are going to be talked about in a real way as a Super Bowl contender. How can you not? If you go into Los Angeles, beat the Rams after losing Derrick Henry, and if Adrian Peterson comes in and has a really good game, dude, we're going to look awesome. We're going to look elite. We're going to be like, this Titans team is a team of destiny. They can't be stopped. And another thing, too, you said a lot of things that triggered memory for me, but you said Al Michaels, and that reminded me, he's calling this game. He was also the commentator for the Titans and Rams Super Bowl in '99.
Wow, there you go.
And I doubt he's commentated another Titans-Rams game since then, because these teams don't play each other a lot, and certainly not on prime time. So this is the first time he's called this game since the Super Bowl between these two teams.
That's a nice note.
Pretty
I like
crazy.
that.
I wonder if they're going to mention that in the broadcast. But this very entertaining game. Lots of storylines. This Rams defense is terrifying. I hope Tannehill survives. Really, just at the end of the day, I want him to be able to walk on his own 2 feet. But I'm going to take the Titans to win. We're going to shock the world. This is the opportunity to snag one of the biggest wins of the season. It seems like we say that every single week. Biggest one of the season. So I'm going to take the Titans, Jake, and I think it's going to be competitive. I think we're going to put up a fight. And maybe that is enough to surprise some people, but possibly Super Bowl contenders if we go in there and win this game, Jake. That would be insane to do that without Derrick Henry on this team. So I love it. On the national stage, we both got the Titans again because
Yep.
you just gotta love them. You gotta love this.
Hey, it's Titans tube, not any kind of other tube. It's about supporting the two-tone blue, being Titans fans no matter what. Yes, we lost Derrick Henry, but guess what? Another Hall of Fame running back, Adrian Peterson, is in the football game. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the Titans keep it close. I think it's going to surprise people that the Titans are going to be in this football game. And Mike Vrabel coached Titans teams are, anything but lay down, especially when facing adversity. And we said that the Super Bowl contention conversation was off of the table after the Jets game, completely off of the table. And they might have me reel back in if they can go 4-0 against Buffalo, Kansas City, at Indy, and at the Rams. They might have me back, but we'll see.
I'll be fully on board. It's always just kind of wishful thinking the whole time. But if we win this game, there's no line. I'm bought in, and this team has a real shot to be Super Bowl contenders, and maybe would be considered a favorite if we'd have some really good wins on our resume midway through the season. But wishful thinking again right now, Jake. I got to reel it back.
Yes,
it's okay.
Yes, of course,
it's all good. Yeah, hopefully the Titans, just survive another week, and we can inch closer to the time when we can welcome back our king to the roster.
Can't wait.
All right, well, yes. That is going to do it, Jake, for our picks. Hopefully we can rebound and do a little bit better this week. I don't want to fall below 500 any week, Jake, and I got dang near close to it. So we'll see how we do. Any final thoughts, words? Thank you guys for joining us. Jake, take us out.
Nothing. Just like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Tighten up. Everybody have a great football weekend. Whoever your team is cheering for, I hope they win, except if it's the Colts, Jags, or Texans, or Ravens, for that matter. And that's why, I picked the Vikings. And Rams. Yeah. And Rams. If you're a Rams fan, you can go on home. But thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Tighten up. Have a great weekend.